start insulting black women, you're going to see something you haven't seen before. Black men are not going to put up with that. I was on a phone call with 20,000 black men. The word protect came up about 1,000 times. Protect this sister. Protect this sister. We're going to protect her. Protect her. You're about to see something you haven't seen before. Look, people messed around with Hillary Clinton and said a bunch of mean stuff to her. Black men set that out. We won't set this out. So I don't think that the Republican Party understands that all the work that they did trying to get us over there, two more days of this, it's going to be a problem.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
Welcome once again to the beatzillapdx official show. I am your host, beatzillapdx officially. And this is the midweek report. And as you can see by the title, we're talking about being magically black. And like I said, this is the midweek report, news break edition, that is. So this broadcast is tape delayed. So it may appear as if I am live right now, but I have recorded this broadcast a little earlier, and now you are getting it. So it appears as if it is live, but it indeed is not. So you guys know, if you guys are in the chat, just let folks know if they come in the chat a little late that we are on tape delay this evening. So with that being said, I would like to thank everybody for tuning in. If you could, at this time, hit that like button, hit that share button, if you will. And if you have not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit the word all. That way you'll be notified anytime this channel goes live or a video is uploaded, video premieres. And then, of course, you can join and become a member of this channel. That way you will see videos before they air in a lot of cases, and also just some members only content. A lot of the musical stuff that I post on this channel, I'll have it up publicly for a while, but it will eventually go back into the members only section of this channel. So I'll probably let that, that might be up for all of maybe a month or so. However, for the last Cathedral Park vlog I did, I might leave that up for a little longer so that can get some views for the people who are in it. So once again, shout out to Tyrone Hendricks if you guys have saw that video. But with that being said, we are talking about the situation at hand. As you guys know, President Joe Biden has recently resigned. Well, not resigned. He has dropped out of his second presidential race for a second term and has endorsed Kamala Harris. And at this point, it looks like Kamala Harris is the presumptive nominee. And that being said, okay, still doesn't answer about policies for Black America. It just gives us the appearance of who they have portrayed as a Black woman. That's why I titled this Magically Black, because for all intents and purposes, her father is a Jamaican, which there are a lot of Indian Jamaicans in Jamaica. We do know that he has a white mother. That's her father. So there's that part. And as other things are coming out, that their family were actually slave owners, not the descendants of slaves, such as Black Americans. However, if you've noticed the graphic on the screen, you have a lot of media outlets technically calling her a Black American, to which she is not. She's not a Black American. She's not even an African American. She is an Indian American or a Jamaican American. But being a Black American is a specific designation. And so, let's not start playing with that now, because I'm sure there will be folks running out going willy-nilly saying, hey, we can't worry about trying to define Blackness and who's Black and who's not. No, this is about, are you a Black American or are you an Asian American? We don't have that's cosplaying. And cosplaying and running on that, you're running on a lie, which ain't cool. It's simple as that. Running on a lie is not okay. And if you're going to run on that lie, well, then you have to accept the fact that people are looking at you as a liar, which a lot of Democratic shills are looking like right now. But with that being said, before we get into this, I would like to say peace, power, blessings, and protection be up on all of you. And thank you for tuning in this evening. If you are watching on X, and if X is actually airing this broadcast this evening, unlike my last one, then you need to come over here to this YouTube channel, because X has been blocking some of these lives. So come over to the YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to the Beatzilla PDX official YouTube channel. And if you don't, then you might be missing out, and you definitely be missing out on the other videos that get posted during the week that you might see. They'll get shared, so you'll get notified on X, but it's not going to be the same as just watching live. So hopefully X does right by me tonight and airs this broadcast as well. Now, with that being said, talking about the Joe Biden situation, he just gave his farewell speech, basically. And everybody is going out of their way to put extras on it, and which is okay. It's fitting. It's befitting a president. You have to put all of the theatrics and emotionality on his exiting the race, and now getting behind Kamala. But like I said, now it is conveniently happening that Kamala is Black again, magically Black again. And when I say magically Black, it's because when you have a person that openly identifies as such.
But you're also Indian American, and I'm just curious.
Indeed.
What's the best? How do you describe yourself?
Did you read my book? How do I describe myself? I describe myself as a proud American.
A proud American. And not surprised that she does. That's not surprising one bit. However, there are scenarios and situations that we are facing right now as a people, to where the shaming tactics that they are so used to are just not going to work. And beware for the shield squad. Because some of these folks might have a little extra on their spirit. And I'm not saying I don't know what that brother does or not, but I'm just saying some of his antics are very reminiscent of that narcotic behavior. But, hey, what do I know? But boy, them eyes showed. Oh boy, I just got a bad cold, Yeah. I mean, I don't know what people be doing, but I'm, hey, what do I know? I'm just saying. So anyway, moving on. Like I said, we have Kamala Harris. And there's going to be a lot of these shields coming out of the woodwork to come shame black folks on cue. Because that's the move nowadays. If you can't shame black folks, well, what will you do? And see, now for those of y'all who have probably been watching D.L. Hughley flame out and crash out over trying to make Kamala black, one of the things he keeps pushing is he'll say things as, well, she's black enough to be called a DIE hire or a DEI hire, and when she black enough for this white man or this racist white person to say whatever. What in the world is that logic of thinking other than saying he believes blackness would be defined by what non-black people define it as? And you're talking to black folks saying she's black. No, she's not. And how someone who is ignorant of the fact of her not being black, which again, if she's being called a DEI hire, well, she's an Asian and her parents are immigrants. That's the other part of this equation. We essentially, and they're going real low and light with this, but do y'all understand that the presidential nominee for the Democrats is an anchor baby? A bona fide anchor baby. More so even than Barack, because neither one of her parents were citizens. Think about that. So when it comes down to Kamala Harris, she's the ultimate dreamer. So if you think of why she would be pro immigration, just as an illegal immigration at that, because this also is on her watch. She's the border czar. So tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about something that got overshadowed today. And we're going to just take a little examination of these proceedings. But first and foremost, we have to acknowledge the fact that places such as Chicago are catching hell. Places such as LA are seeing illegals getting more help and a hand up than homebred citizens. Right here in my city and state, the very same thing goes on. Denver, Colorado, same thing going on. Now, New York City, which has long often been known as a melting pot. And I have, this one is really interesting as things unfold in this administration to which she is the current vice president, sitting vice president in. Well, one of the things is the flood of illegals, and they oftentimes will allow to empty their prisons for these illegals to get out of their country to come into ours. And so now, with you have land of the immigrants, as they like to call it, you are having immigrant on immigrant crime happening out in the city of New York, and to the very same people to whom, when this administration took office, everybody was saying black folks were the main people attacking Asians and the main people out here hating Asians. Black folks don't have the time to hate on anybody or to focus on another group. We're too focused on ourselves and survival. So with that being said, all of these other people who come over here and get these hands up, hand up, and they still trying to come up even some more. And now they're starting to attack each other. And it is now illegal immigrant on Asian crime in New York City.
Fellow New Yorkers, can somebody explain to me what's happening in our city? Because today, something really bad happened to me. I was walking out of my office trying to get lunch at Chipotle in Long Island City. Right after I get out of Chipotle, a woman hit me in the broad daylight for no reason. I was trying to fight back, but she took my umbrella, break it in half, and shove it right into my face. I was bleeding so bad I had to call 911. And the EMT told me that she's very likely illegal immigrants who were placed in the hotel near my office. So who's gonna be responsible for all this crime that's happening? Are they gonna put her in jail? Because I'm even terrified to even go back to my work anytime soon. And why me? Why Asian woman? Is it because I'm short, I'm skinny, I'm polite? And why? We don't speak out? Okay, I'm speaking out right now. For myself, for us. So hear me out. I need bad guys to get punished. I need justice. And I need my city back.
So even these particular immigrants have a issue with all of this illegal immigration that's been going on. And yes, they are illegal because that's what the law calls them. They are illegal aliens as the law defines them. Don't let these people tell you what you can't call. You using legalese. I'm going to use a legal term. They are illegal aliens, and that is a legal term because they are here breaking the law. And this administration has made sure it came in, ran on planning this crisis that it caused. And this is how we know.
This country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. Hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do.
And now that agenda is clearly proving itself to be a problem. It is definitely proving itself to have been a problem. And so now, and the funny thing about this, because for those who might not remember, the Lift Every Voice plan was actually a Kamala Harris plan that got added into the Biden camp, however, never acted upon anyway. So that's kind of irrelevant, but just as a side note. Now, you're seeing people, okay, Roland Martin did the Million Man Shield call for Kamala Harris, and then you got the sorority Black Women Squad that went ahead and did it, and they're posing that off as it's grassroots. It's not. When you guys are tied to organizations, it's no longer grassroots. All you guys are organizations that are tied to the Democratic Party. That is not grassroots whatsoever. All of you are talking heads for the DNC. It's all part of your oath that you guys signed up for. So you know what you guys are doing. But they're trying to pass it off as this kind of a grassroots thing. It absolutely is not. But that's how these things are done. You know, they say, well, it came together organically. Okay, I guess if you say so. Although all of you already knew the orders. Now, for those of you who watched this broadcast, you might remember that I covered Vice President Harris speaking at the Boule meeting. And I told y'all then she's giving them marching orders. And so right now that she is the nominee, you understand what we're talking about. One of the Divine Nine's own is now the presumptive presidential nominee. Do you know every Greek shill is going to be coming out of the woodwork? Ski-wee and every. So when you see D.L. Huger, I'm not going to argue with you. She black enough for this. She black enough for that. None of it is relevant. And it does not speak for the grassroots whatsoever. The grassroots aren't a bunch of Greek organizations. So those people who are speaking, trying to get out there on Twitter saying how these particular black folks don't speak for Black America, wrong. And this is how you know, because these are the people who can gather the masses of voices. What you see on Twitter Spaces are black voices. You could get up there and see, here's the thing that ruins all of you. All of you people are part of these organizations. What can be trusted out of an organization that is there to specifically shield your duties to the Democrats? And I haven't seen this much enthusiasm for a black agenda from all of these black folks. So that should be a very big eye-opener again to the betrayal, the open betrayal by these particular black Democrats that are coming out here and trying to now, the very first thing they'll do, as they always do, is insult black folk, which is insane to me. But nonetheless, that's how they get on their thing. So first, I'll play. Well, no. Let me go here first because let me get there. So bear with me 1 second while I download this particular video here, because I just thought about another video I just saw, which I just really do not understand the logic in the Democrat shill squad that said, what is it that says, I'm going to insult the very people to whom I want to listen to me. I need y'all to do something for me. Okay, I'm going to have to just get it in this way, I guess. I want y'all to do something for me, and if you don't do it, then I'm going to call you stupid. And, because black folks, especially black men, don't understand politics because we're ignorant. We're stupid. But let's hear it.
Seeing black people talking about Kamala Harris not for black people. Oh, she mass incarcerated. Oh, go check her stats. See what she actually done for black people. No, go check Donald Trump's stats. See what he did.
Now, see, that her stats, because here's the thing. Donald Trump doesn't have any stats. You have history of his billboards. That's not a law. Those aren't laws or using the law against black people. Neither. That's Not either. So don't downplay the fact that she was mass incarcerating black folks, because that's a very factual truth. You have people who came out and spoke about their experience at the hands of her criminally, well, which should be criminal, abuse of power while being a prosecutor. But let's hear some more about how we stupid, though, because we're feeling here. No. So let's not worry about the law, but let's hear about Trump's billboards.
For black people. You talk about mass incarceration. Ain't this the same man who want them innocent 5 boys killed before they even know the truth? Like, you know what? I don't, sometimes I don't get what goes into y'all thought process.
Because people are critically thinking. You just compared a billboard to people having to have their families split up and burdened because of Kamala Harris's policies of law. And then you compared that to a billboard and him wanting these 5 brothers who were framed by the NYPD. We always leave out that part to talk about Donald Trump's billboards. These boys were railroaded by the New York Police Department, which currently right now you have a former cop as the mayor of New York City, who's allowing all of this crime to happen right now because of the agenda of the Democrats to flood the zone with illegal aliens. So to even try to insinuate talking loud doesn't mean you're talking wise, definitely. And you're not making a point because you're insulting someone.
Honestly, I'm starting to think that y'all don't have a thought process. Y'all just have slave mentality. That man passed out some stimulus checks during the pandemic, and y'all look at that man like y'all white savior. Black people get up under my skin.
Now, that little line right there, I really have a problem when people use conversation out of context. You could tell that she's nowhere near these conversations because she's talking about slave mentality, about stimulus checks. Stimulus that you're talking, that's sexy red. Other people are talking about, they're not talking about Donald Trump's stimulus checks. They're talking about how they benefited financially. And you're talking about families that are saying this, homeowners, business owners that are saying this. So that's far from a slave. That's definitely far from a slave mentality, being a freaking entrepreneur. But this is what they throw at you with this logic, because in the little sale or whatever that she's dealing with, coming out with these videos, obviously this is the line that they felt would work for a certain group of people. I'm not so sold on exactly who this is supposed to be reaching, but again, it just kind of gives a certain energy. And when I see certain energies out here, it's like, oh, okay, that's familiar. And it's very familiar.
Being so bad, needing a white savior every time. Y'all will take black people to the ends of the depths of hell before y'all get them opportunity. But let a white person come out with a little bit of money, y'all motherfuckers gonna go crazy. Y'all gonna lose y'all mind. The only reason y'all like Donald Trump is because of the money that was passed out during the pandemic.
That is a ignorant point. Well, not even a point. That's an ignorant statement. Because that's, so everybody was, the bar was lowered that, life began and ended with stimulus checks. because we so dumb. We acting like slaves because we got the slave mentality because we talking about them stimulus checks. What are you talking about? And again, you skipping over a lot of bad law and policy. We don't have anything outside of law and policy. That's the real amazing thing for me is them continuing to try to do that. You know, we're gonna have this. We're gonna put these TikTokers out there to just go ahead and start talking down to black folks as if we stupid. But again, seeing videos like this, it speaks to how the grassroots has had the gender war at bay. Because a lot of these people who just want to get out here and start talking crazy and calling black folks stupid, now's the time, and it's all because of a political candidate that ain't promising them nothing. Amazing.
But y'all do understand that regardless of who is in office, that money would have came out anyway. Y'all so fucking stupid. That man don't fucking like y'all.
And so we are to assume that this is liking us.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
Yeah, I'm not so sold on how that actually makes sense. But even going that much further, well, you know what? I'll stop right there. And so moving on to a more, I guess, reputable source, but nonetheless, the line in thinking is still of the same energy.
Hey fam, okay, I just gotta say it. Given the just stratospheric entrance of Vice President Kamala Harris into the presidential campaign, and she has now secured enough delegates to become the nominee, you're gonna look real crazy being on the other side of that line, particularly as a person of color, but really as anyone who claims to have any connection to the culture. You're gonna look real weird and real lonely on that side. The door needs to close behind Amber. And she look crazy over there. But shut the door behind her. You really are gonna look crazy being on that side, given the cultural phenomenon of Vice President Kamala Devi Harris. She's about to make history. She's about to become the first woman president. She brings together the African American community, the AAPI community, younger people. She is a whole meme. And I'm going to explain to y'all the fall of the coconut tree is a whole West Indian thing. She brings together all of the aspects of the culture. HBCUs, she's a Howard graduate. The Divine Nine, she's an AKA. She is a woman of color extraordinaire. She would be the first, person from HBCU, regular real world, to be president of the United States, in addition to being the first woman president, in addition to being the first black woman president, in addition to being the first AAPI president. She's bringing it all. And very importantly, she will be the first woman president after the fall of Roe v. Wade. A woman who brings women back to power after having our power stripped from us by 6 far right wingers on the Supreme Court, including one woman who turned on us. Baby, this is a cultural moment. Don't be on the wrong side of history. Don't find yourself on that lonely side, because you're going to look real crazy over there with Kid Rock.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. looking all fine out there for that now. I mean, telling you now, look, when you gonna be looking all funny style now. You gonna be looking weird. Now you ain't gonna just come over here and just kowtow and bow and just kiss the foot of the woman and that who don't really fool with black men like that because she didn't want to marry one. But we don't need to be paying no attention to that because shoot, maybe if y'all don't get up out of here with all of that. Hashtag vote no to benign neglect. And if they ain't got no black agenda, then vote the couch. See, right now, you see what she keep trying to do? And that you're going to get a lot of that thrown your way here in the next little bit here. But, you know, when you look at family photos and such, I'm just confused on where they are landing at the black aspect of this woman's being, because they keep calling her black, but how could that be when there's no black there? It's impossible for her to be something she's not when it's non-existent, even in her makeup. But hell, like just lie. That's better. Where the black folks in that? I see a bunch of dark Indians. Ain't no black people in that picture. But here they go. Kamala Harris, U.S. Vice President, 59 years old, first woman, Black American, and South Asian American to be elected Vice President. Now, for her to be a Black American, she would have to have black on her birth certificate, right? To which she does not have either. She's a Jamaican Indian who, for all intents and purposes, her mother identifies as Caucasian. So where's the blackness? Especially for being a Black American. Now, if you were saying she was a Black Jamaican, okay, that's even a reach that you still aren't proving either. But one thing's for certain, she most definitely is not a Black American. South Asian American descent, she most definitely is that. And she looks like every other South Asian American that you might be able to see out here on the West Coast. Don't know why people mistake her for being black. A lot of them look like her. But if you see her with her family, who are all Indians, you would be like, oh, okay, she looks like kin to all of them. Right. What black family out there does she look like? Set her next to another black person. Where do you see Kamala's face coming up? I mean, come on, man. But anyway, this is how they're running it. Let's take a listen.
There's a lengthy statement from President Obama, which to my initial read has no endorsement of the vice president, but says in part, President Biden pointed us away from 4 years of chaos, falsehood, and division that had characterized Donald Trump's administration. Through his best policies and his example, Joe has reminded us of who we are at our best, a country committed old-fashioned values like trust and honesty, kindness and hard work, a country that believes in democracy, rule of law, and accountability. It says later, we will be navigating uncharted waters in the days ahead, but I have extraordinary confidence that the leaders of our party will be able to create a process from which an outstanding nominee emerges. I believe that Joe Biden's vision of a generous, prosperous, and united America that provides opportunity for everyone will be on full display at the Democratic Convention in August. And I expect that every single one of us are prepared to carry that message of hope and progress forward into November and beyond. For now, Michelle and I just want to express our love and gratitude to Joe and Jill for leading us so ably and courageously during these perilous times and for their commitment to the ideals of freedom and equality this country is founded on. No endorsement there of the vice president.
And I not mad at Obama for not, but and now you got people like, well, you need to be endorsing her. I mean, it's crazy not to be endorsing her right now. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But let's think of it this way. Right before Kamala kind of took or got handed the mantle of being the nominee, got handed. inherited the mantle of that. You know, we were going into a disastrous little cycle here. Here's something, though, about Kamala that's very interesting. She's been basically invisible. I mean, she's been very invisible for quite some time. She's the border czar, mind you. And then we have a super duper crisis at the border, and this is on her watch. So one of the things about her running, when we're talking about economics and this illegal immigration that's going on, well, you best believe that this illegal immigration conversation is going to be squarely in her lap. And now I'm sure there's going to be a lot of brain dead Negroes over here to, man, y'all over here sounded like the white man asking no type of question. No. So just don't, before you guys even start, don't. But nonetheless, this is the NAACP. And again, I just wish I saw all of this enthusiasm for an actual Black agenda, actually doing this for Black people. All of these people to whom you have been hearing from over the last 48 hours are always silent when it comes down to really making change and speaking up for Black folks. They'll act like they do. They'll give some lip service, but no. Now all of a sudden, look at their energy. They're ready to combat. You got folks out here ready to lose family members over Kamala Harris. You better not talk about my Kamala. Let's not fall down to the Obama pit and regress to the political mind state of 2008 and the bliss of having a Black face in a high place, because that is not going to sustain us. And especially when that Black face ain't, number one, Black, number two, is largely responsible for the financial hardships that your community is facing at the hands of being oversaturated with illegal aliens.
It's good to see the president put country above personal interest. We are in a serious crisis concerning our democracy, and for an individual to have enough character to say, you know, there's a better option here, I'm willing to step back to ensure this democracy survive, is something.
You know, that's funny. You're talking about democracy surviving while your community is dying. And he's head of the NAACP. What about talking about this democracy? See, all of that is a democratic position that they are having them push. It has no benefit to the Black community whatsoever. And so you'll get you, but this is the nifty thing about the Divine Nine and the way that thing is all set up. Basically, you all need to look at them, especially at this moment. Every last one of them are agents. They're agents of the DNC right now. Everything about the call coming down from the top for their organizations is making sure you get Kamala in office. So just understand, it ain't going to be a logical rationale. It's just going to simply be pushing Kamala, right or wrong. Let's not even talk about her record. But see, she's running for president. You have to talk about her record. So unless you want to start in okay, here's another thing she could do. She could present a Black agenda, because she is on record saying, I ain't going to do nothing for Black folk. So to sit up here and tell us that we need to vote for her and something is wrong with us and we'll be on the wrong side of history and looking strange, I'll have to say there can't be too much more something strange than a Black man that's from Houston that is in Washington, D.C., trying to spend all of his time getting up into the White House and in the Capitol Hill and trying to get all of those advertising dollars from the DNC They need to pay and give all that money to black-owned media. And before he let them offer him any money, he starts a funding campaign to give them more money that they ain't gonna spend with black-owned media. I mean, it's absolutely insane. But shout out to you, Roland Martin. Good going. Because you think you finna see any of that money that they just got? Learning, I mean, this is what learning how supremacy works the hard way looks like. Yeah, shout out to Roland Martin.
That is to be commended.
In the NAACP statement that followed the announcement of Biden stepping down from seeking re-election, it stopped short of endorsing specifically Vice President Kamala Harris, saying, quote, while today's news requires a discussion, we cannot be distracted. Our focus must remain on the policies that presidential candidates stand for, not their political performances or personalities, end quote. I do wonder, what policies do you think the vice president would need to get behind in order for your organization to endorse her?
Well, first of all, at the NAACP, we don't endorse candidates or political parties. We focus on policy priorities. And so candidates who support the right of workers to collectively bargain, the ability of federal employees to have civil service protections, the need for more individuals to be provided student loan debt cancellations, the rights of citizens to have equal protection under the laws. Those are the things that we care about. But we don't zero in on individuals. We focus on public policy. And we want to advocate for voters to focus on the things that would improve the quality of their life, stabilize this democracy, and grow opportunities for our young people.
If only that were true. So publicly, they don't endorse. Publicly. We honestly can say that publicly. But one thing they will do is they will draft letters talking against cash reparations. Thanks, NAACP. Really appreciate that. Now, in the midst of the blackening up of Kamala Harris, the pander machine is a beast. It's incredible. But I mean, when people are out of touch with the community, they do stuff like this.
What'd you get? So, okay, so do you know music? Okay, so first of all, Charlie Mingus, really one of the greatest jazz performers ever. One of my favorite albums of all time. Roy Ayers, Everybody Loves Sunshine. You know this one? So good. It's a classic. And then Morgan Bass. Right? And this is a beautiful one. It's Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. So,
it's as bad as the hot sauce, man. That's as bad as the hot sauce. Come on, man. And right now, there's some shield looking at that, trying to devise up a video. Like, I told y'all that she was down. See, I told you that's why something wrong with you if you ain't going to sit up here and vote for Kamala Harris. Now, you just don't like black women if you don't vote for Kamala Harris now. Now, I mean, now you all there talking about she ain't black stuff. Her daddy is Jamaican. Jamaica mean black. No, Jamaica does not mean black. Well, Jamaicans, well, you mean to talk about where Jamaicans is originally from. Where Jamaicans originally from. Africa. Everybody's from Africa. See, that's how she's black. Oh, Jesus. This is getting out of hand. Y'all understand me? Out of And but the right isn't taking it any better. And so this is something that happened. and the brother on the left, you know, he getting his check from Fox News. And who knows, maybe he firmly believes in my ideas and tropes they be talking about over there, but even he knows that this dude kind of goes off. Check this out.
Obviously, you compare him to President Biden, who is muddling his way through speeches. People know he couldn't go more than better, right? Yep, couldn't go more than 15 minutes. She's very good on the prompter. No one even doubted that. She had 3,000 people there. Why are they there? A lot of them have to do with, hey, I'm a Democrat. I thought we were going to go down in flames. Now we have a shot. The problem with Kamala Harris, number one, she has not had her record exploited heavily because people thought and marginalized her. Even in the Democratic Party, they said, man, what a bad choice Joe Biden made. Number two is she hasn't sat down for an interview. When she sits down in an interview and says, do you want to fund ICE? Where do you stand on Medicare for all? Why didn't you show up? The most recent decision, already you got a question. She will not show up for the Prime Minister's joint session of Congress today. She'd rather address in the summer a sorority, a college sorority, like she can't get out of that. So that's her decision, and that's her decision to back up the protesters.
And how about the border? When they ask her about the border, I haven't been to Europe either. Remember, she said that she's the border czar. She didn't go to the president. She didn't go to the border, and now we're learning that two of the border chiefs, the last two border chiefs, she hasn't talked to.
Wow. Just talk to a colored sorority. Oh, fella, you can't do that. She's out there talking to the colored sororities. Yeah, that's not gonna land too well. But she did go talk to some more sororities. So I guess they had a follow-up meeting from the last Boule gathering. So, you know, more marching orders, revamped marching orders since she's at the top of the ticket right now. If you guys remember, I also did a little piece on her when they were talking earlier, floating out the idea if Joe Biden stepped down, who would be her running mates? And they were talking about the people that they're talking about right now. And most likely it'll probably be the guy from Pennsylvania. But we were talking then. She ain't gonna choose no white man. Or I mean, she ain't gonna choose no black man. They knew then off the rip. And that's why they were floating that out there to see how it would be responded to. And just quite frankly, they know that black folks is gonna go with any way. So it don't matter. Damn shame, but it didn't matter. So shameful. So Kamala it is. Now, this other part that ended up happening with Joy Reid. You know, that guy's talking about colored women's sorority. This was the night of the RNC, and Joy Reid making a statement. Of course, she's been going in on Amber Rose. I mean, she's a DNC shield, like attack dog. So she has her platform, and right now she knows where her biscuits are buttered. And her biscuits are buttered best talking about black folks, trying to get black folks to vote for the Democrats. No, vote blue no matter who, and shame anybody who is thinking any different because you're going to be over there. No, a lot of us are saying we'll take the couch. And I would advise anybody, vote locally, vote your interest locally. If you need to write your name in for president, then write your name in. You don't owe none of these candidates your vote. You absolutely do not. And if you don't vote, you can vote locally. You're still doing your civic duty. Don't let nobody tell you you're not. You don't have to get behind them candidates that they want you to rock with, though. That's the one thing you don't have to do. They got to come bring something tangible to the table for black folks. Or, you know, hey, man, who knows how your votes turn out? I know, I mean, man, if I ain't making the type of money or I can't afford to get a good meal in me or I can't afford the gas to get there, man, I don't know if I can help you out. I know one thing that would really, really take care of all of that, though, would be reparations. Now that Kamala Harris is in this position, don't let these folks start trying to talk past doing something for black folks, because what they're going to try to start pulling now is going to be where, you know, they ain't definitely going, the Republicans, boy, in Project 2025, that definitely ain't going to get you no reparations. You got to vote Kamala now. If you want any hope of reparations, you got to vote Kamala. But Kamala already told you what she's going to do, so we know where her stance is. So there's an issue all in itself for the Democrats, not for us. And especially when this is the way that black men are being spoken of, sorry.
And then in Argentina, that's how that went, which is that you had this coalition of, and not to be cruel, but, it was described as sort of an incel election. It was the young, angry men of Argentina who, they wanted a macho candidate. And it went along with policies like banning abortion, banning birth control, and, the idea of no fault. It all kind of goes together, that you've seen this kind of election before. You see the same thing in Hungary. Like the Orbanism of the party it's rooted in returning white Christian men, but also white men and white adjacent men, black men, brown men who are white adjacent in.
What is a white adjacent black man? I'll tell you, he doesn't exist. Tim Scott, Daniel from whatever the hell his last name is out there in Kentucky. None of these guys. They're not no representative of nothing. And they're not white adjacent. They themselves cannot be white adjacent. Reason why they can't be is because there is no such thing as a black man being adjacent to white men. That is an oxymoron if I ever heard of it. Where in the hell in American history have you even seen that? Because at that point, see, you're talking about quest for power. The black man being on the bottom is white adjacent because the black man is tired of being on the bottom, and that's a quest for power? This is coming out of a black woman's mouth. So the point that a black man wants to be at least on equal footing. This is what this immigrant-born woman or tether or immigrant parents, so maybe she's another anchor baby, I'm not sure. I know she's an immigrant. But nonetheless, she does not have our lineage. And this is her stance about black men. Black adjacent? The point that when I always hear this, and truth be told, this should be a dead giveaway of tethers, because only a tether believe that you have a black person has the ability to be adjacent to a white man in the first place. Because those of us who truly understand how white supremacy works understand that is an impossibility. You have two perpetual historic enemies, always at odds, and all of a sudden you're talking about adjacent. That's insane. But that's the type of mentality that these individuals have. That's why they shouldn't be speaking for us. But even more so, these people come over here and start advocating for our block being flooded with more folks thinking like them.
In terms of trying to also be in that dominant position in society,
Wow.
And then you have women who are willing to go along with that, right? There are a certain number of women who are also willing to trad white.
Black men, it is bad for you to be looking to have any type of dominance. You hear Joy Reid?
Sort of thing. And so what you've seen on the stage, but what's interesting though, is that J.D. Vance, who promotes this kind of thing, he says there shouldn't be no-fault divorce. He says women in violent situations should stay. He didn't say that in his speech yesterday.
No,
there was no talk of abortion.
No.
There was no culture war stuff regarding men and women because they know it's deeply unpopular. Well, there you go. Here he is, Donald Trump taking the stage.
Maybe they didn't do that because that wasn't their agenda. See, it's funny. They ended up disappointed because the agenda that they've been saying was theirs, they didn't hear at their convention. However, I've seen Democrats speaking at podiums that literally say Trump's Project 2025. I mean, that's kind of insane when you think about it. Like, it's not his, it's the Heritage Foundation's. Even if he knows the man from the Heritage Foundation, that still doesn't make it his. I just don't understand that logic. It's insane, but whatever. So the main thing I wanted to get to this evening are two clips that, like I kind of noticed that when this conference or this little, I'm not sure how to classify it, but this meeting, when this meeting was being done, is on the same day as we are talking about, Joe Biden officially, making his speech and bowing out. And he definitely could have, this is Wednesday. Why did he wait till Wednesday? He could have gave this Monday. We knew over the weekend that this wasn't going to be the case. Now, before I get to this next video, I want to play this video and just give you a refresher. Maybe Joy Reid needs a refresher. D.L. Hughley needs a refresher. And anybody watching, just you're thinking, hey, this guy, he's over here doing this and just lying on people. Let's just take a flashback to those debates. Because, see, people's short memory span might not, because I see when people, you trying to talk about her locking black folks up. Okay, let's see when it was talked about on the actual debate stage.
She put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way. Line is, Senator Harris, when you are in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not. And worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that. And the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
And not much that she could refute. And that's a lot of that information that came out is a lot of the stuff that sank her campaign in the first place when she ran for president to begin with against Joe Biden. For those of y'all who don't remember, people have short memories these days. But one thing again, I want to remind you, and this is going to be the big thing that I need folks that you want to know how to look at this and approach these next few months. Keep this in mind. being pro-illegal immigration has proven to be detrimental to Black America. They're calling this woman a Black American, but she's the border czar, and she's right there having been supporting all of this illegal immigration. Now, with that being said, what is she willing to do day one in office like a Donald Trump would do? And now this is going to be where you're going to start seeing all of the DNC Boule shills. They're going to start, and I'm talking about down to the comment threads on your timelines and whatnot. They're going to be popping out trying to check you about, hey, this isn't about her policy. We just need to get her in the office. No, she needs to hurry up and come out with a plan for Black America. That is her option. Now, with that being said, I want to see what her response to a conversation like this is. And then we can definitely go from there.
Yes, I serve on the board with Kathleen on BEAR, but I'm also the Director of Membership Development for Project 21 Black Leadership Network. And I think that's important to understand. We are a center-right organization. So I'm saying this to say that the majority of the people that actually call or I come in contact with usually are center-right. Something has changed. I get more phone calls from elite Black liberals than I do from conservatives or people who lean conservative that are Black. And what has changed over the last 2.5, 3 years? Illegal immigration. I get phone calls at 11 o'clock in the morning from pastors, from leaders of NGOs, from community leaders, asking for my help that would never have the same policy and believe in the same policy issues that I do. But they're asking for help because for the first time, the straw that broke the camel's back is mass illegal immigration in Black communities. There's I have a large network in Chicago of Black pastors who called and said, can you help us? There's reality and there's perception. And we need to not understand how powerful perception is.
Like calling a woman Black when she's not. Oh, well, she went to Howard. So did Rachel Dolezal. And Candace Owens, for that matter, didn't they? I mean, what was Different Worlds' first season? Marissa Tomei May's character was the white girl at the HBCU. So, that happens. You got Indian girls at the HBCU. Clearly it happens.
Here's the perception of African-American males. They think that illegal mass immigration of illegal immigrants in their community is so that they can swap out Black people for brown. They believe that they're put there deliberately to take those jobs. Low industry, low skilled jobs that are historically held by African-American males. They believe that they're there to displace them so that they don't have economic power so they can be pushed back. Second, they believe that they're there so that they can take control of their community.
Think of LA. Think of all that has taken place in LA. And then all of the politics there. Nuri Martinez. F him, he's with the Blacks. Coming over, taking over. Look at the Congressional Black Caucus, for that matter. There's a bunch of folks in there that are tethers. They don't represent the people at all. They represent they people.
I hear from leaders in Black urban communities that bid you don't lean right are saying to me that they're meeting with people and they're seeing these immigrants in their community actually recruiting members to be gang members. Why? Because they want to take control of the community. They believe that there's a plot to make sure that there is no Black ownership of businesses, of housing, because they have deliberately planted all of the illegal immigrants purposely in minority communities to sow discourse.
I cannot say that she is wrong. And yeah, answering to this is not going to be the conversation of shame. Because when you're trying to keep Black folks out of home ownership, and then you're flooding the zone, taking care and propping up illegals, we have to deal with that by way of policy, instant actions, and making sure we take measures to protect this community to whom has been targeted in times and years past. How does this not look like even more of that same targeting about the community? Because if this is how people are being or are expressing they're being affected, then there's an issue that needs to be addressed, and you cannot tell folks to vote it away. And you can't most definitely tell them to vote for the people to whom brought this issue up on your community to begin with. Doesn't make any sense. Let's hear some more what the sister got to say.
The last thing that I would hate to say, but it's true, is that they believe that the left is deliberately setting up a scenario where there's going to be a racial war not between Black and white, but between Black and brown. The fact that the majority of the illegal immigrants that you've seen in the last year are actually male, military age individuals.
Yep.
A lot of those individuals have been incarcerated, gang members, all of these situations. That we have a community that the Biden, I call him lock him up Joe, right? Now he didn't just take fathers out of the house, he took fathers out of the community completely. So there's already a shortage of Black males in the community. Now you're putting mass amounts of Black Army ready illegal immigrants in there. What do you think is going to happen? Now, perception is a powerful thing. For the first time, you have Black males who historically lean left that are all of a sudden moving to the right. Why?
Well, it's because we see what's really going on. I want to fast forward in this one because there's two videos that I want to, this one and there's one more that I want to play. But check this out. And again, mind you, this happened earlier today.
To house illegal immigrants.
They're not immigrants. They're illegal aliens.
Let's go back.
Citizens. Who's getting pushed to the back of the bus? I can tell you something. We're holding on to the tailpipe of the bus. We're not even riding in it after you put the amount of benefits that illegal immigrants have. It was really a slap in the face when the city of Chicago opened up closed schools to house illegal immigrants.
They're not immigrants. They're illegal aliens. This is what the Democratic Party has done, or the political left has done to America. They have taken the word, they have taken control of the usage of words. They have, excuse me, they have controlled the narrative. They're illegal aliens. Excuse me. They're illegal aliens. They're not immigrants. this is very clear. We should not call them. My coffee. I'm sorry. Let me take it out with some water. But the perception is reality. They're seeing that reality every day. They're walking over and walking past Black men, young men who have no opportunities, who are sleeping in the street in boxes, while illegal immigrants are getting free housing, renting. In New York City, 135 of the hotels. New York City is the most expensive city in America to rent a hotel room. 135 hotels of the 700 hotels, that's a significant number, are now housing illegal immigrants. They're illegal aliens. I mean, I can't stand African Americans who will never have the opportunity not only to go to New York City, but to stay in a luxury hotel. And yet, illegal people breaking the law, coming over to the border, are actually getting a free ride. They have an American dream that African Americans will never realize in their lifetime.
And that is shameful. I'm going to put the link to this page in the description, so you'll be able to go check their channel out, because this is from their YouTube page. And they have a few videos talking about this. You know, they just told you they center right. And I'm not mad at that, because again, you know, Black folks have conservative values as well. Might not be conservative as we're talking about conserving the system and this and that, but personal family values, which you can't have personal family values when your own sights are to destroy the nuclear family, which that's been the Democrats' mission for quite some time. So, but the other sister who was getting choked up, she actually has another part that she kind of expresses herself. And I wanted to definitely play this because she makes very strong points that are not often heard. And once again, let me remind you, this was from earlier today, also in Washington, D.C. Center for Immigration Studies. So it's not like it's, you know, you don't know what's happening.
You say it's not as bad as 1924. I think it's actually, I can make the argument that it's actually worse than 1924. In Los Angeles, Black Americans are 40% of the homeless. This is absurd when you have tens of, and it's been going, this mass immigration / illegal aliens have been going on since the 1965 Immigration Act, but it got really heavy in the 1980s and 1990s. But the history, I want to go back to the history, because this history is so important. And this is why I make the position, this is why I've devoted myself to Black America for Immigration Reform, because I believe this history, many Black Americans need to know this history. What was going on in the 1800s with Frederick Douglass, with Booker T. Washington, with W.E.B. Du Bois, with Marcus Garvey. All four of them, they were dissimilar. They didn't have the same positions politically or ideologies, but they all four agreed on mass immigration. They said it was absolutely unacceptable. And so we've...
Now, with that being said, you know how much they lie on our great ancestors and Black progressive icons are empowering icons, and they always try to rework their message. Oh, they would have been for this and they would have been for that. No, they wouldn't have been. And not to mention, Marcus Garvey was an immigrant himself. So that tells you that he understood beyond his own personal position, but understood what things and the implications look like on a grand scheme and how that affects black folks here in America. So take note in that.
Fast forward to today, we don't only have mass immigration because America accepts more legal immigrants per year, at least 1 million, than any other country. So that's mass immigration. But now we have illegal aliens, okay? So and this is completely unacceptable. And if you are for illegal aliens, which we can't even use that term, says the political left, because it's not politically correct. And I want to say political correctness has destroyed Black America and has destroyed America. We must speak the truth. And
I would absolutely have to agree and add to that pushing that intersectionality on Black America is a huge contributing factor to what she's talking about. And if you don't believe me, ask anyone this one question. If they firmly believe that intersectionality is positive for Black folks, the question is, how does it positively affect the Black family? See if you can get an answer for that.
And if illegal aliens is a term used in our United States Code, you are anti-American if you don't use the terms used by our founding documents. That's what I.
Did you hear what she just said? You are anti-American if you refuse to use the language of our founding documents. They're illegal aliens.
That's the position I take. So I want to go right back to the 1800s again. I'm sorry. The article is "Cast Down Your Bucket Where You Are" by Robert Malloy and the Center for Immigration.
You know, cast down your buckets where you are. Shouldn't that be the line of these fleers? That should be what's the message taught to them. Hey, don't run to America. Cast down your buckets where you are and make where you are better. Funny how you can only tell a black American that. And these people, oh, they got to run from their home. Really? But Black Americans could cast down their buckets where they are, huh? Okay.
Immigration Studies published that article. They need to republish it again.
Yes.
So Black America, I want to all the listeners out there, I want to encourage you to read that article. You can read the actual words by Frederick Douglass, by Booker T. Washington, by Marcus Garvey. You can read their actual words. Also, Black publications, Black articles, newspaper articles, Black intellectuals said mass immigration is unacceptable. This was in the 1800s. I don't know why the political left, the Democratic Party, denies this history. I don't know why they deny it. Why are they harming?
Because you got so many of these tethers that benefit from it. And that's exactly why. They don't have our history here, and they come from a culture of backstabbing, grifting. And what's a bigger grift than to pose like the people that you're not? You are impersonating the group of people who are foundational to this land to when you are not, and then try to interject, like Joy Reid, interject her piece into our politics. And I just have to say for myself, no, thank you.
Harming Black Americans. If you're pro-illegal aliens, you're anti-Black American. That's the position I take. That's the position that we take at BAR. If you're pro-illegal aliens, you're anti-Black American.
If you're pro-illegal aliens, you are pro-anti-Black American. I am absolutely with this sister on that.
We are Black Americans. We have been in this country. Our ancestors have been in this country since its founding. When identity politics has failed, however, Black Americans and white Americans matter. Why? Because we've both been in this country since its founding. So what happens to each group matters. Every other group has come relatively recently since the 1965 Immigration Act.
And that's so think of it, coming in from the Immigration Act that black folks help you to get. And now we have these same people who benefit from that, trying to rewrite our history like Busta Rhymes and well, Fat Joe technically is an American citizen because he's Puerto Rican. But, you know, just think of the implications of that. And so you're real backstabby to act like black folks owe you anything in this country, to win from the from the 1800s to the 1960s. It's black folks that afforded you the opportunity to even be here. I mean, it's amazing that these folks have this attitude towards Black America. It's amazing. Like, we owe them something? Absolutely, we do not. And the disdain that they talk to us with, man, yeah, you can most definitely miss us. Because this is real talk. So again, if you are pro illegal aliens, then you are absolutely anti-Black American.
Relatively new to America, but there's no way that Black Americans and white Americans should be decimated or dissolved or in any way, how do I want to lessen by immigration? Because they've been here. They're the descendants of the ancestors who've been here since the founding of the country. They matter. The truth matters. Why isn't the truth getting out? I don't know. Why has the Democratic Party betrayed Black America when we have been their most loyal constituents? Why have Black politicians betrayed Black Americans? In fact, I know that,
See, and that's the other part. Black politicians, Black bootlicks, Black Sambo tap dancing sellouts. All of these people have chose to sell Black folks out. And look at all of them now being so vocal for Kamala Harris. But with this situation right here that actually affects Blacks as a whole, they have been absolutely silent. So again, salute to this sister for bringing it to the forefront. And I'm glad that I could share this message with y'all this evening.
What's the guy out of Texas? He was just a guest. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He was just a guest on Washington Journal this morning. He is pro illegal aliens. All Black politicians are pro illegal aliens. They call them, it's a good thing they say it's a good thing for the economy. It's just a narrative. It's propaganda. It's not true because the data is clear. So for every 10% increase in mass immigration, Black Americans lose a certain percentage of their wealth. I don't know I can't remember, it's 1.1% or 2.5%. It suppresses their wages. The incarceration rates increase. Why? Because when Black men are not employed, they resort to violence. It deteriorates the family. It's just a lose-lose situation. We should not continue mass immigration. Illegal aliens should not be in the country at all. If you're pro-illegal, I'll repeat this, if you're pro-illegal aliens, you're anti-Black American. That's the position I take, and I'm sticking with it.
Yes, 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 indeed. I am absolutely in agreement with that position, and couldn't have said it any better myself. And, you know, at the end of the day, there will be a whole bunch of individuals coming out like this saying, well, what you mean you not finna vote for no Kamala? And you talking about vote no to benign neglect? Man, you crazy. You silly, stupid, blah, 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 this and that and the other. Yeah. Boy, this old meme is really, it's really kind of playing itself out now, isn't it? It really is. But never forget.
So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
And why is that?
Woman, but you're also Indian American, and I'm just curious.
Indeed.
What's the best? How do you describe yourself?
Did you read my book? How do I describe myself? I describe myself as a proud American.
Yeah. But Kamala's black. Kamala's black. That's why we always have to ask the question.
Where's your family from?
And right now, what we have is the magically black Kamala Harris and having a bunch of bootlicks and shines coming out trying to shame black folks to supporting the woman who already said she ain't gonna do nothing for black folks, who is proudly posing as black, but not black. D.L. Hughley and the rest of you. This is for you.
Sambo, Sambo, Sambo.
Never forget, when you put all your faith in one political party or the other political party, all you can do is crash out. Don't be like those guys. Babylon is fallen. Babylon is fallen. Let it fall and let us rise. Can you dig it? Ah, Lordy me. So one thing that we can always understand is the things they're going to be talking about, why we need to vote for Kamala. It's historic, this and that. It being historic is the symbolic part of it. But these same people were just talking about, let's talk about policy. See, what we need to be talking about, what we need to talk about is policy, right? So policy is a conversation. We need to be having a conversation about policy. And now all of a sudden, it's just a conversation about voting blindly for Kamala Harris because she's a black woman and it'll be the first time a black woman, this, that, and blah, that, the other. So what we need the black man to do for the Democratic Party is we need you to go hop around in that phone booth and put your cape on and come out and vote for Kamala Harris. Well, I just have to say this to all of you black men hating Democrats.
You shouldn't have been talking shit.
So if you think that we will just blindly vote for you, just because you put this imposter black woman in the face of all the black folks while still coming to the grassroots being absolutely disrespectful while you promote an anti-black agenda in illegal immigration. I speak for myself, Beatzilla PDX official, the Beatzilla PDX official show. Those of you in the chat, the grassroots, the voices of new black media, I think it is safe to say that I speak for all parties involved when we proudly dedicate this song to you.
Get up off of that cocaine and get up off of that crack. Get yourself together and get your mind back.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at BeatZillaPDX. You can email me at OurRealTruth@gmail.com. And if you feel so inclined to put some money in the bucket, you could definitely do so by way of CashApp, which is $BeatZillaPDX. And that's Cash App, $BeatZillaPDX. Also, we have PayPal, which is Zilla Music, which is ZILLAMUZAK at PayPal. And always remember, hashtag hands off our reparations.
You have no rights here. We're not under the empire.
And, for all of you shills who are probably watching this and being like, hey, you guys are misleading the masses and nobody needs to be listening to your random black podcasters. Well, always remember that the Grassroots told you so. We understand the power of our vote and we understand the power of the couch. And we also understand the power of voting for a party that absolutely harbors nothing but anti-black sentiments because its policies reflect so, not because of someone talking loudly without a policy. Because this is what politics is for us.
How can black people rise up and overcome?
Get out and vote?
That is incorrect. I'm sorry.
And with that being said, family, stay black, stay vigilant, stay alive. Black first, black first, black first. Shalom, y'all.
When you know who Satan is, yes, sir. You don't have to kill him. No. The stone of truth. Yeah. See, that's what you throw. Yes, right. Allah says, had we wished to take a pastime from before, surely we would have done it. Nay, we cast truth at falsehood till we knock out its brains. Every one of you that knows the truth, stand up and tell it from the mountaintop. Black people can't take it no more. So wherever you are on the job, in the factory, I don't care where you are. If you know the truth, stand up on the truth and tell Satan, who the hell are you to try and pick my friends? Farrakhan is God's man, and you are from the enemy of God. So to hell with you. Stand up on it like a man.